This has got to be one of the coolest things I have ever installed. Hey, what's going on, you Tubulars? EXO coming at you here, feeling wicked pumped today to show you the little smorgy we got lined up on the menu. I have been working my butt off designing, customizing, and building a amp rack for all 12 bass amps in the rear, but I'm waiting on a stinking package from Amazon. So in the meantime, I figured I'd do a little something here on this sidewall. Look at her. We got some Herculiner finally on there, finishing her up. Oh, For the longest time, it was left there kind of without any TLC, but now that I know exactly what I want, we put 2 coats of Herculiner on it, and man, doesn't that look real nice? Imagine 2 mids and highs amps for the doors, an amplifier for the tweeter up in the pillars, a DSP, and a big fat Fanny. Say it ain't so. Oh yes it is. I'll be one of the very few to have it. Oh man, I'm so excited. I've been really looking forward to having one of these. We got this one right here, which we carry all the time with 2 motors, but once you get into the big fat Fanny, check this out. Man, I hope this doesn't turn bad on me. That was scary. Ace Ventura moment. Look at that sumbit. Oh yes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 motors all in one housing, so it'll really button up that install. Nice little Showtime special there from our Southern Thunder guys, and sparked. Oh my gosh, I can't even fit it in the camera. I can't put my arm back that far. Holy smokes. So I'm gonna ordinate that this in some special pattern in the most optimized way, but that's what this video is all about. We got our Crescendo amps for the doors, we got our Crescendo amps for the pillars, our Helix DSP, our little standard Fanny there, which I'll include all this links in the description. We do carry all this stuff except for the Helix, but maybe we can change that if you guys have enough interest. That means for today, we got what, 7,000 watts worth of amps to install. Well, not install, mount, lay out. I want it to look real nice, so that's what this whole video is about. We're gonna worry about all the wiring and bus bars once the batteries become a part of the equation, and that's a little bit later. We gotta make sure we do things in order properly. We don't wanna have a bunch of live wires sticking around when we have more customizing to do, you know what I'm saying? So let's figure all this stuff out, get a nice decent layout with our tape measure, and just have some fun. So we got the templates cut out for each amplifier. This one is just a tad bit short, but that's all right. It's enough to get the gist of her here on the sidewall. So basically what I'm gonna start doing is brainstorming with some patterns. Hopefully these magnets will be strong enough to hold up this cardboard, and I'm gonna use that as a handy little trick just to visualize each layout one after the next. And if one really jumps out at me and makes me smile, that's the one that I'm gonna pull the trigger with. Too many different wires going everywhere. Yeah, the fan wouldn't have good cross flow. Yeah, now I gotta come up all this way with wire when I'm trying to keep them short. Don't like that. I think we're getting closer. Imagine if I tilted the fan. I think that's what needs to happen. I think I need to tilt the Fanny this way so I get the amps down lower so it's stronger and more compact for the routing of the wires. But I think I'm gonna put this little guy over here. Let me try that. this is perfect. Look at that. I'm so short from where I need to go with my wiring. I can have about this short of wire for my bus bars. Let me go grab the fan and see if we're on the right track. Take this sucker right here, and instead of having it like that going across, what if I had it like that going down? Oh man, this is looking mint. And look how well it lines up with all of the heat sinks. We got all the fans basically going right along the cross flow, just like it needs to be. I think I'm gonna pull the trigger. This was the first one that really made me smile. It's got great functionality and aesthetics, so I think that's the best of both worlds, guys. Let's keep moving along. Oh man, there's all three. This is bringing me back to Frankie. Remember my lineup on the side wall there where all the bus bars were? It's kind of similar to this, that's why it's reminiscent. And if you're wondering why I'm saving the real big torque for all my hand, it's control. This thing is wiling out sometimes. I don't know if it's on our last leg, but it's been cogging and freaking bogging and then torquing like crazy. So I'm going around by hand after I get the initial plunge. It's doing the trick. Everything's freaking perfect on the bottom. I can't even get over that. I'll have to get a nice close-up shot right there, but we're moving right along. The orange and black is on the wall. I'm glad I freaking stuck with the old Nendo. This is beautiful. Man, bringing back good old memories. And speaking of memories, isn't it crazy how life comes back full circle sometimes? Take a look at this. I was just thinking about all this. We got the signature or the initials of the world famous Edward Lester right here, and I was just reminiscing on when he came over and did that little interview in my living room at like 4 a.m. at my mother's house, and here we are all these years later when he was in the same boat I was at Showtime Electronics, but now he's got his own company with Spark, and I'm at Showtime Electronics. Isn't that so serendipitous? It couldn't have worked out any crazier than that. So now I got my hands on the world famous Big Fat Fanny. Oh man, I probably should have done a mock-up of this with cardboard, but hopefully we got our freaking measurements right. Measure once, cut twice. Oh my gosh, look at that. That's freaking Velocity 101 right there. It's going right across the heat sink. Dude, look at this thing. Oh my gosh. This has got to be one of the coolest things I have ever installed. Look at that, so futuristic looking, facing that way. Ah, I'm absolutely loving this. And those rubber feet, oh, really came in handy, because now that I remember it, you see how the difference between the steel cage and the wood we put in it is about 1/8 of an inch. So I needed to make up some bit of distance anyways. And even with the standoffs of the amplifier, compensating for the thickness of the steel cage, we're about even. So I can just barely fit my pinky even on the highest part where they offset the amps. If I didn't do that, we'd be hovering maybe a 1/16 above all the metal. And so I just wanted to isolate it a little bit better like that. Next step is the good old DSP. And I think I'm gonna do function over form because the RCA outputs and inputs are on opposite sides. I want the outputs to be what's most logically placed. And I think since we're doing all of our RCAs in a big line right here, I think lining up the outputs of the DSP would be probably the best option. So let's go ahead and try that. It's actually coming together pretty fast today. I love it. Goodness gracious, there she be, man. Oh, looking the part, I'm feeling it in my heart. This is what made me smile from the start. That was not intentional, I swear. This is the very first take. I just pushed record and that just happened. So there we go, guys. The Schmorgy is on the platter, ready to freaking devour. I got a little bit, maybe just a tiny little bit of a difference on this side. Can you notice that? Is it rising up just a little bit? But it's too close. I went to go, reposition it, but it's that close that it went right back into the same holes every time. There was no getting around that. But I think it's freaking mint. I'm so happy. So there we go. We got our Crescendos, DSP, and Big Fat Fanny. Huge shout out to Spark. I freaking picked that up down at I think it was at the Sundown show from Southern Thunder. So if you're interested on getting your hands on anything like that, we do carry this down at the shop down in Knoxville. So go check it out. Showtime Electronics, straight from the man himself. He was in my shoes all those years ago, so it's crazy to think here we are doing it big all over again. And yeah, go check out the website, guys. You can pretty much score all this stuff. But I just wanted to post this video up for what it is. I'll come at you guys next time when we resume the amp rack for all 12 bass amplifiers. 12 6Ks, a whole bunch of brain work, and I'm busting through it. So be sure to stay on the lookout, guys. I appreciate every one of you, especially all of the words of encouragement like from the last video. I went through and read all those. It's pretty mind-blowing. Thank you guys so much for your awesome support. I mean it from the bottom of my heart. Thank you guys. I'll talk to you in the next one. See you, signing out.